Hello and welcome to the Kryptonaut Podcast. My name is Mark Stores, and hanging out with me, as always, is
Uncle Bobby.
Uncle Rob, what up? And of course,
Chris.
Excellent. Thank you both, everyone for being here and participating in this podcast this eve.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hey,
We're doing this on a Tuesday.
We are.
It's been a fucked up week.
Yeah.
We're here. We're doing it.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad of it, to be with two dear friends in a hallowed space.
Yes, in a nicely lit, hallowed
A
space.
sacrosanct space that's carpeted for soundproofing.
Exactly. The acoustics, good sir, are enjoyable.
Yeah, they are.
They are. Before we get started with this week's episode, we got a couple of two quick announcements to make here. Be sure to keep an eye on our YouTube channel. Part of this space, we have a video studio now, so we're going to get back to doing some videos for YouTubes and whatnots. And there is a super secret project that I was a part of, you were a part of, and was put together by a good friend, Mr. Chris Carnicelli.
Yes, it was.
Written and directed and shot and scored and all around maestroed, basically.
It was.
Spoiler.
Auteured by Chris Carnicelli.
Spoilers, Chris made a movie.
Chris made a movie.
I made a movie.
Yeah.
It's a short film.
It's a short little thing. It's fun, though. I had a great time doing it.
No, like when I watch it, I'm just like, you guys are gonna be like, I remember this day, but this is not how I remember. I remember that day, but
yeah, I don't really have much experience in filming stuff like that. Besides the American Monsters pilot, when I was in the Lon Chaney
You were the
outfit,
Squatch.
and I had my little tiny man undies on.
Yeah, you did. Too tight to fit with clothes, man. Sometimes I need excuses to get you naked.
I mean,
that was one of them.
Yeah, and I remember all the leeches and shit on my leg. It was super dope. But with this, it was super cool to see Chris work his craft and do his thing. And
Leech free in 23.
Yeah,
it was.
Chris did not load me up with
Leech-free.
leeches.
Wow.
As a
No,
matter-
it was inside a house.
Yeah, and then he gave me pizza, and it was super fucking cool.
We had
Fucking
pizza.
A.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had pizza. It was
shot
dope.
that at the beginning of October, and it should be out, I don't know, hopefully in a couple weeks.
Yeah, but keep an eye on our YouTube channel. We're going to have it posted there. So
Yeah, I loved my mini cameo, and I'm really stoked because I wasn't there in the main shooting days to see not only you, but Pei.
yes, Peyton's in there.
Yeah,
She's a very, very important part.
So this is fantastic. So I'm super stoked along with everyone else because Mark and I have not seen the final cut or any cut, just
No, nothing.
scantest of clips.
Yeah.
So good shit. And so videos are coming, not the least of which is our fucking own Auteurs mini masterpiece.
Yeah. It's going to be a good time. We will let you know when that is going to be coming out this week, fellas. Oh, this is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fun one. I've been wanting to do this one for a while, and it's so broad.
It is.
Which is great.
It's
which
a big
I
one.
love. Yeah. No, this is going to be super fun. We're talking about pale crawlers. One of the most bizarre phenomenons to hit the paranormal arena in recent years are run-ins with pale, cadaverous, crawling humanoids who are nocturnally stalking not only the remote wooded areas one might expect, but also the once safe suburbs and even desolate city streets, forcing one to wonder if we might be bearing witness to a silent invasion of creepy crawlies that are both horrifying and, according to some reports, extremely dangerous.
No bueno.
Keep your eyes out for these pale crawlers, folks.
Pale.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if you see one, you better get a running. Don't do a kicking, get a running.
That's true.
All right, Robert, let's get into it.
It's like something that might have shambled straight out of a nightmare. But there are scores worldwide who insist that this is no bad dream, but an incontrovertible biological fact. Imagine, if you will, an emaciated, nearly skeletal human form with pallid, almost translucent, fish belly white skin stretched tightly over its protruding bones. Its flesh is nearly hairless, save for the occasional wispy patches protruding from its gaunt, skull-like head. Its nose is little more than a gaping triangular hole, and its mouth, as often as not, hangs slack, as if the muscle fibers connecting the jaw to the rest of the skull have begun to decay. The same could be said for the loose conglomeration of jutting bones seemingly held in place only by its ashen epidermis and a rudimentary system of ligaments and tendons which seem to be on the verge of decomposing, as these hellish things, despite displaying a morphology indicative of bipedal locomotion, evidently prefer, as their name suggests, crawling on all fours. Though there are an array of alarming incidents wherein these anatomical abominations are seen maneuvering on two legs.
Well, I mean, these things, you've just painted an awful picture for me.
They're awful.
They do
Yeah,
not.
it's gross.
As the kids say, they do not slay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No riz.
I believe that.
Low ris.
Okay.
Low res.
Yeah,
As
no,
in resolution.
riz as in
I did-
charismatic.
Oh,
Riz.
I didn't.
I'm learning.
You're
I'm learning
Yeah.
child.
kids.
It's gonna be out on its way out by the time.
I hope, because I can't. I keep forgetting. I'm like, yeah, no cap.
I mean,
for
it
real,
lost
for real.
30%
Yeah, I know.
cool by being said by someone your age. So there it
you
is.
go. Yeah, but these things sound absolutely awful and horrifying.
They are.
All right.
But though their bodies may look like they are wasting away in classic Romerian zombie fashion, these pale crawlers, as they have come to be known, are not rotting from the inside out. In fact, they consistently stun eyewitnesses with their ability to move with alarming, almost spider-like alacrity, scuttling with a mind-boggling swiftness that is both uncanny and utterly appalling. Add to this the evident ability to climb with eerie agility, and it becomes all too clear that escaping from one of these beings would be an all but impossible task. But as disturbing as this picture already is, for many, the pale crawler's most alarming attribute are their eyes, which are often described as being highly reflective, sometimes ethereally glowing, milky white orbs that are sunk deep within the black wells of their sockets. Now, to add an even more distressing touch to the proceedings, when confronted, these mostly silent things are said to be capable of making sounds that range from threatening guttural growls to eerie whispers to unnervingly shrill, high-pitched shrieks. So, just a package of fun.
Yeah, it's all the bad things.
All the bad things. All the bad sounds.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to get the shakes. You're going to get the Silent Hill shakes. Spoiler alert. You're going to get everything.
Right.
God.
It's the full package here. They suck so hard.
They offer nothing of good, sir.
Not yet.
And finally, to put a sinister cherry atop this already shit-tastic sundae, there are those who insist that the ultimate goal of these often spectral scavengers is not merely to steal food from trash cans or outdoor pet food bowls, but to feed on living flesh, whether that be feline, canine, wild game, or human. Human flesh.
Oh,
Long pig.
Almonds.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
No.
nah, man, this is not
I
good.
mean, I hear we're tasty. I never want to find out.
No.
Stranger still, though most accounts confirm that the bulk of these bizarre beings are approximately human-sized, on the rare occasions they are seen standing, not so rare as we find out, it happens quite a little bit, descriptions have varied from as small as 3 up to a staggering 15 feet in height. Biggins, forcing one to wonder if, instead of dealing with what one might logically speculate are merely horrifyingly infected human hosts, we might be contending with a separate species superficially resembling and running on a parallel path with the human race. But before we get caught up in speculation, let's explore a few cases with these absolutely guano ghouls. This haunting batch of reports were collected from various sources by author and cryptozoologist Brent Swanser, who assembled them in his January 7th, 2019 article, Bizarre Encounters with Creepy Pale Humanoids, as well as the October 29th, 2019 follow-up, More Bizarre Encounters with Creepy Pale Crawler Humanoids, and his July 25th, 2021 piece, Bizarre and Spooky Cases of Pale Crawler Humanoids in Residential Areas.
Man, dude, Brent is nailing it. I
He's
love
nailing
it.
And I got to say, I was going to stray. I was doing my own research. I had a bunch of, and then I found these 3 articles. I'm like, oh no, Brent gets the props.
Yeah.
He did the collecting, and he, even though I found some of these stories independently, I'm like, oh no, you did the work, son. You
Dude,
did it.
there
So
it is.
Yep.
thank on you, Mr. Swanser.
Thank you, Brent.
Indeed. This episode will be focused on the more countrified encounters with these crazy creatures. I want to note that I added this later. I was planning on doing the full gamut of suburban and urban fucking encounters, but I just ended up getting a bunch of country encounters that really got to me. So at a later date, not in part 2 or 3 so much, but like the return of the pale crawlers, we'll maybe deal with the more urban and suburban ones.
Oh, yeah.
In this one, we are doing the fucking rural aspect.
All right, so you can look forward to a future Pale Crawler episodes.
Pale crawlers take Manhattan.
so many.
Yeah, dude.
It's a never-ending saga, really.
No, and there's reports of these things all the time. constantly.
Yeah, no, I mean,
So,
I had to I did the notes on this, I don't know, 4 months ago, and
Yeah.
it's dumb.
yeah,
The
there's
new amount that's
dude, there's
out.
so much out there.
Everyone's seeing them all the time. There's a fucking, well, forget it. We'll deal with that at the end. I'm not even going to get into it right now.
Oh no, it's too much. Don't overwhelm yourself.
Yeah,
buddy.
we
Don't
haven't
worry.
started any of this yet.
Yeah,
so.
don't even worry about it. We're good.
I'm just gonna say, according to photographic evidence, they hate moose.
Yes, I know what you're talking
We'll just
about. Yes,
fucking table that fully because we don't really deal with that one today.
Okay, excellent.
Let's begin with a brief yet bizarre case from Lon Strickler's Phantoms and Monsters website. According to the witness, he and a friend were leisurely driving down a desolate, dusty stretch of South Texas road when they were attacked by something that would remain forever etched in their memories. The experiencer wrote, quote, "A bipedal, hairless, and pale glowing humanoid or being of some sort jumped out of the brush toward my car as we passed. We were driving at 20 to 25 miles per hour, aka they were getting high. No one's going that slow on a back Texas road unless you're getting fucking high as shit.
Unless you got some, truck beers or something.
Maybe some truck brews.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe went through drive-through daiquiri shop.
Nice.
This being screamed at us, a very shrill, high-pitched yell. I'll never forget it. When I fully looked at this humanoid, my heart just stopped. It did not look anything like a Hollywood character of what an alien might look like. Assuming gray when you say that.
Yeah.
It was definitely not of this world. We then sped off as fast as we could and did not look back. So, brief, it pops out. It's pale. I don't know if it's crawling. It's bipedal, actually.
I mean, it screams at you.
What more can you do?
Yeah, you just
Not a good look.
No, get out, man. They did the right thing. Just keep going. Don't stop. Don't offer help. Just keep going.
Just keep going.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, go home.
Yeah.
Probably start going to church.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, just get over this hump,
Do
and
something.
then figure it out. Yeah,
just go to a couple services.
Yeah, just a nice go with your grams. Maybe
splash holy water
catch a brunch. You're fine.
on your face like you're a middle school kid with his first bottle of cologne and just fucking pray for the best.
Exactly.
Get over the hump like we were saying and move on.
Exactly. Do what you have to do to make everything right.
Absolutely.
Moving on, Robert.
Our second account was culled from Reddit and deals with an unnamed 15-year-old poster who was in his bedroom in an unidentified rural area in the U.S. when he had a sighting that would haunt him for life. The teen was closing the shades on the second floor window when he caught sight of an eerie, pale-skinned, almost luminescent humanoid crouched in a tree just outside the glass. The boy claimed that the, quote, pure white, almost glowing man thing, that's man/thing, unquote, was glaring at him. Stunned, he described what happened next, writing, "It was crouched down, kind of in a Spider-Man pose, and I believe it had larger black eyes. Not like something you see from the Greys, but it was a feature that stood out to me. It was very muscular. I distinctly remember seeing well-defined arm muscles. It seemed just very muscular in general. It wasn't too thin, it was just strong-looking. I don't know how tall it was because it was crouched down and looking up at me. I don't remember if its head appeared larger than an average human's head, but I remember it was very bald. When I saw this creature, I screamed for my mom. She came to the window and saw something that startled her too, and she ran downstairs to our back porch and yelled, 'Who's out there? Come out.' I remember standing behind my mother, nervous with fear. We went back to my room and looked out the window, and it was gone. I have this weird feeling that someday I'll see it again. I'm not sure why. I just feel it." So, again, I don't know how much the mom saw. If the mom saw exactly what the kid saw, I don't think she'd run outside. I mean, protecting your brood, I know it's the deepest instinct
but
the
look,
mother should
you're
have.
already inside and it's outside, so there's no need to go outside.
Nope.
Just batten down your hatches
Yeah.
because the ripped crawler's coming.
The storm is coming.
Dude, she's like, I'm not having no glowing, muscular ass humanoids in the tree looking
Spider-Man
at
and
my
my boy.
yeah.
How dare you?
Dude, that's, oh man, all right, that's fucking nuts, dude. Well,
Starting small.
yeah.
Starting
okay.
small.
All right, here we go.
Little bit of ear. We're going to slowly amplify.
Okay.
This lingering feeling of dread is something that is all too common in encounters with these undeniably arcane creatures. Our third case also involves a climbing critter, but while these first two encounters may be some kind of misshapen or perhaps disguised human, this is something else entirely. According to an article posted on the Phantoms and Monsters website, just after midnight on a snowy, bone-chilling eve, a woman pulled into a Best Western motel in Bear Lake, California. went in, signed all the necessary paperwork, and returned to her car to grab her luggage when she had a face-to-inhuman face encounter with the hideous unknown. She wrote, quote, "It had been snowing and was extremely dark. My car was facing a country road. When I hit the unlock button on my car, the parking and interior lights came on. This allowed me to see two eyes reflecting in the middle of the road, about 10 to 15 feet from me. At first, I thought it was a deer. I've lived in Colorado and I am accustomed to seeing wildlife. I instantly stopped and remained still as I didn't want to scare off what I thought was a deer. As my eyes glanced downward, I noticed it wasn't a deer. It looked like a white, hairless, naked man on all fours. It was at least 4 feet in height on all fours. So that's fucking saying something. Probably around 15 feet if it stood up. There was a brief moment as our eyes made contact. It then, as quickly as I've ever seen any animal, turned around, ran as fast as a cheetah away from me, and then straight up a tree. I was frozen in disbelief. I said out loud to myself, "You have to be flipping kidding me." I would have said something a bit stronger, but that comes as no shock.
Flipping.
Just as I was going to convince myself that this couldn't possibly be happening, it leapt from treetop to treetop, and I could see its full outline as it did so. End quote. The woman, understandably concerned, rushed back inside where she pondered the implications of what she'd seen in the relative safety of the motel, later writing, "The speed and strength it had was like nothing I have ever seen before. The creature was definitely solid. It appeared as if it was coming towards me, possibly hunting me. I don't know what stopped it. Was it the lights that went on? It had no visible genitalia. It had very human-like qualities. None of this makes sense to me. The speed, agility of the creature, and there shouldn't be any way the treetops should have been able to hold the weight of the creature. It appeared to be flashing like a TV going in and out of reception as it sprinted up the tree. It also didn't appear to disrupt the foliage as it did so." So there's a lot there.
Yeah, being like 15 foot like that and hitting the trees, the first thing I thought of is like, man, how is this thing able to be on the top of the trees like that?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I mean, there's some sturdy California trees, to be sure, but I don't know if that's sequoia country or not.
I mean, being 15 feet like that, though, that's pretty massive. Plus the whole TV going in and out of reception, that's kind of strange.
Indeed.
Yeah, there's no rules. This one has no rules.
Yeah, no, dude, this is a wild card.
Yeah.
Total wild card.
As we will be exploring here.
Okay.
What the hell could this possibly be? It's hard enough to contend with a potentially predatory, possibly arboreal, nearly 15-foot-long quadrupedal humanoid, but one that fades in and out of reality like the flickering signals on a faulty TV antenna. Not to mention that we seem to be dealing with a massive beast that is not only nearly weightless, but can shimmy up a tree without disturbing the branches, a maneuver that even small squirrels can barely pull off. It makes one wonder. Is this creature and others like it responsible for many of those who go missing in the forests and backwoods of rural America? And if so, are they merely devoured with whatever remains of their carcasses being strewn around to be consumed by scavengers? Or are they being dragged into an alternate dimension by these flickering fiends who, like some twisted Doctor Who villain, plan to use their flesh for purposes too terrible to contemplate? In the end, it's hard to decide what's more disturbing. The fact that the witness had the impression that this thing might be hunting her, or that something this big and bizarre even exists at all. Our fourth case deals with another uncannily large entity. The incident occurred in Willow Creek, California, and though this is usually Bigfoot country, the account published on Phantoms and Monsters indicates that these woods may harbor even more insidious entities than this mostly hairy horror. The eyewitness claimed that while visiting his grandparents' modest, wilderness-shrouded home next to the Trinity River in 1994, he had a run-in that he would never forget. According to his account, the grandson and his sister grabbed their sleeping bags and decided to sleep under the stars. Perhaps in order to avoid being bitten by annoying mosquitoes or bothered by other woodland critters, the kids chose to sleep on the back of their grandparents' solarium. That's a fucking sun porch for us locals that don't have fancy places like this.
Yeah, I was wondering what type of technology
Lots
that
of
is.
glass.
The solarium.
Yeah.
Like a greenhouse for people.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah.
For sun.
Yep.
for vitamin D purposes. The solarium.
Yeah. Brand new to me. I'm excited. I kind of want one.
And we all do. But anyway, so there he is, which offered a full, albeit enclosed, view of the sky and the flowing Trinity River below. Listening to the river and staring up at the stars, the boy fell into a restful slumber. It would not last long. At some point during the night, the young man awoke with a start. He wasn't sure what had triggered this, but he was instantly overwhelmed by a sense of dread, and his fight or flight response kicked into overdrive. Not sure what was going on, he sat up and began looking through the glass walls of the solarium to see if anything threatening was out there. And that's when he caught sight of the unthinkable. Offering one of the most detailed descriptions of one of these beings on the books, this is what he wrote. Quote, I turned my head to the side to look into the yard. I had to turn to my side and lift myself a bit to get a better look, but the source of my feeling was impossible to miss. Standing at the bottom of the yard next to the neighbor's fence line stood a tall, skinny creature with skin the color of the moon. Not alleged. Bona fide moon. It had no hair on its head or anywhere else that I could see. Its eyes were shiny white with a reflective quality, but not bright like a bright light was shining on them right then. Just moonlight. Its face had human features, but seemed squished flatter. Its arms, seemed really long, but that could be just because it was really tall. The chain link fence came up to its armpits, so it had to be around 7 or 8 feet tall. Not enough to just step over the fencing, but I didn't hear it climb over unless it had been in the yard before I woke up and just didn't get the dread feeling until later. End quote. In an intriguing twist, on most pale crawler reports, the grandson noticed that it seemed to be wearing a sort of rudimentary wardrobe, claiming that this gangling ghoul was clad in, quote, dirty brown, dark gray looking rags over its chest and around its hips and over its crotch, end quote. It was then that the boy got his second shock of the night, when the creature, as if somehow sensing it was being watched, slowly turned and looked directly at him. He described his prototypically childlike reaction, writing, I got scared and ducked down into my sleeping bag as far as I could, adding, my sister has always been a heavier sleeper, and I didn't want to wake her up for this anyway. Odd as that reaction may be, and it is fucking odd, I would wake up everybody in a fucking 7-county radius. It would be what happened next that sent a cold chill down his spine. Quote, next thing I hear heavy steps on the deck coming towards the solarium. There's a wood door with a screened window in the top of it, not opened at the time as far as I can remember. All was quiet for a while, so I peeked out through a small fold of the sleeping bag. Through one of the bottom windows of the solarium, next to the door, I saw its pale, large feet. The skin was rough and the toes were gnarled with dirty nails. I curled up, trying not to make a sound or move much. The bag was getting stuffy. End quote. Knowing that he and his sister were separated from this ambulatory abomination by just the thinnest of screens or panes of glass, and hoping to avoid triggering an attack response, the kid did his level best not to move or make a sound, even though he felt like he was suffocating inside of his bag. Inexplicably, as so often happens in high strangeness cases involving small children, the boy fell asleep. The next thing he knew, it was daylight. I know, every time.
Yeah.
Well,
every
really?
time. I know, Chris made, or Mark made the face, Chris agreed, and it was like, yes. Because either kids' bodies are just, first off, have you ever slept better than when you were a kid? The answer is fucking no, I think.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
Nobody. And you could say it's the lack of pressures. It's like the high energy you expend during the day. It's the fact that you're healthier. All these things probably apply. But the other thing is kids need more sleep. So scientifically, as much as we can be scientific on this podcast, you probably have a tendency to just nod off even when you're scared. I
just don't know how you would do that. But okay, I'm here for. I'm going.
But here's the other thing too. We don't know if this kid's 13 or fucking 7.5.
Well, right.
We just don't know.
And he's already dedicated to not letting anyone know about this. I need to keep everyone silent.
I mean, when the thing is down on the ground by the fence, armpit to the fucking chain link fence,
right?
He could have ran inside, bailed on his little sister, big sister, we don't know which, and fucking gotten an adult. He didn't. So by the time it's standing out the door and his first instinct is to hide, that indicates a younger child to me.
Yeah, probably.
So
Well.
I agree. It's odd. It's odd. Like,
Okay.
why the fuck?
Yeah.
And inexplicably, why do they always fall asleep? But maybe it is explicable. Maybe no matter how scared you are, because I fall asleep terrified, but mostly of shit that was from my own imagination. But eventually you do sleep.
I just fall asleep terrified from life.
Well, yeah, that's called being a grown-up.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Just lay in bed mid panic attack, like, please take me away. Please take me away. Slumber.
There's nothing worse than waking up in the middle of that same panic attack.
Yeah, no.
That feeling of like, oh yeah, oh, when we sleep, you were
Yeah.
a reprieve that I don't remember enjoying, and
Yeah.
now I'm right back to
Yeah,
it.
no, I love
Thank
waking
you,
up,
waking
freaking
life, dick.
out. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well,
All right,
getting back to
but it's
it
not
here.
about us. It's
No.
about boys and sleeping bags and giant monsters
There you go.
and little sisters, presumably.
Okay.
Okay, so the next thing he knew, it was daylight, and his father was shaking him awake. He asked his family if any of them had seen or heard anything strange during the night, but they all denied this, saying they had slept normally. After he and his father failed to find any footprints or any other telltale signs of the apparition's existence, his dad chalked the whole thing up to a bad dream. But his son knew better. And that's just something you got to live with, I guess.
The whimsy of sleeping children.
Perhaps. I mean, as a dad, you almost can't blame him. You're sleeping on the sun porch. I'm sorry, solarium with your sis.
Yeah.
You see this thing, and then it crawls up, and then you peek out again, and its fucking feet are there, and you're seeing its ogre feet staring at you.
Yeah.
He's
Hiding
a
in
good
the bag.
podiatrist, hiding in the bag.
Yeah.
When you wake up,
No,
Yeah, it's gone.
I mean,
it's an easier world to live in if it's a bad dream.
if you're the dad, 100%.
100%.
Yeah. No, if you got to face this reality, you're like, God damn, this mortgage is too high.
Yeah.
I got to deal with this bullshit.
Now I gotta get mom and pa out of here.
Yeah,
Get him at
goddamn
home.
it. There it is. All right.
Goblins. Big goblins.
Fuck you, big old goblins. There it
All
is.
right. But as unnerving as this all too close encounter may have been, our next case has a woman who would come even closer to one of these infernal entities. According to an Illinois native posting on Ranker, which I'm not familiar with, but whatever. It was the guy who collected these stories, God bless him.
Dude, Ranker.
Brent. So
Yeah.
he and his girlfriend had just left a mutual friend's house and were on their way to their respective homes in separate cars. They both lived in an Arcadian area riddled with creeks and dark stretches of forest not far from the Kaskaskia River. I hope I said that right. The boyfriend's trip would prove uneventful, but in a tearful phone call, he would soon find out that his partner's journey was anything but. He wrote, "On Friday night, she and I were at a friend's house and we decided to leave at around 1 a.m. It was very foggy outside, being that we live near rivers and creeks in rural Illinois. She goes to the gas station on her way home to the rural town where we both live about a block away from each other. I get home and don't hear from her for a bit until she calls me very shaken up and crying. She said on her drive home she saw something crouched in the road on the right side. It looked to be fairly small, possibly a child." End quote. The huddled, unhealthily pale child was evidently facing away from the young woman, its unclothed, painfully thin body shaking with what looked like racking sobs. Being a decent human being, she came to a stop and unrolled her window, asking the child if they were okay. When she received no response, this would-be Good Samaritan pulled her car to the curb, climbed out, and cautiously approached the small, hairless figure. As she neared the clearly traumatized child, its trembling form likely bathed in the red of her parking lights, the woman gingerly reached out to offer a comforting touch. It would be then that she'd receive the shock of her young life. Without warning, the creature's compact form seemed to unfurl with what one can only assume were a nauseating series of bone-snapping cracks to its full height of over 6 feet. It turned, looked down at the utterly horrified woman, and unleashed a god-awful screech, that's a quote, before sprinting into the concealing darkness of the woods near a tributary of the Kaskaskia River. The boyfriend finished his report writing, quote, "She can't say if it was a boy or a girl, but she can say she's never heard something like that before. She's pretty jarred by the experience."
I mean, that's to say the least. My
Yeah.
God.
No, that's a game changer. That's
Yeah.
a never drive alone again. You certainly aren't
Oh, yeah.
stopping to help anybody ever
No.
again.
No.
You never go down that road again.
Yeah.
You move out of that town because that road is near your home, and so whatever's in the woods can smell you home. presuming it
it
can.
followed you and it's gonna eat your face. Like, oh god. Especially thinking that's a kid, you're probably like freaking out, like, oh shit, something's wrong with this kid. And then you get over there, it's this awful, horrible monster.
Screams and books.
Yeah. Seriously.
Wow, thanks.
It is a nightmare. You see a kid by the side of the road, and
You're
we
freaking,
all.
yeah, dude, you're freaking out.
I mean, it's freaky, but and it's pale, so it's like, was it kept in a basement? This poor child.
Your mind's running.
It's going to bad places, dark
Yeah.
places. Did it just
For
barely
sure.
get away? Is it like being stalked by somebody who's potentially dangerous? And do you have to get this sobbing, bundle of child into the car and to safety before? And then suddenly it unfolds like a nightmare, rising up taller than you.
Yeah.
Shrieks in your face and books. As Chris said.
Yeah. I mean, it's awful. All right, well.
I mean, it could do worse.
Yeah, no, it could.
Oh yeah, this could have went. It could have went worse.
I mean,
for
that
sure.
thing might be screaming "thank you" in its own language for all we know. Thanks a lot, lady. I'm doing fine.
It's just a chance you pass them out.
I appreciate your concern. As do my people. Thank you.
You'll be free.
We'll be in touch.
Here's a pot of gold. You don't want it? Okay, it's cool.
All right, fine.
You're a good one. You're a good egg.
It's all mine.
See ya.
You're getting raptured. Don't worry.
Nice.
Our next case was posted by a Reddit user named Buckeye Brute. Sounds masculine. Who explained that his grandfather's property had been invaded by one of these paranatural predators. According to Buckeye, in a trend that will surprise no one, his grandfather's rustic home was nestled in a rural coal mining town in southeastern Ohio. Again, the countrified pale crawlers this time around.
There it is.
In what his family may have taken as an early and very disturbing sign of dementia, the grandfather claimed that he was being stalked by a lanky, pale-skinned prowler. He wrote of his grandfather's repeated run-ins, quote, "He used to be soft-spoken and generally reserved, but the last time I visited him, he was easily startled by noises, constantly checking outside the window, and he won't let his dog outside unless he goes with the dog, and he's always bringing his handgun with him. I asked him why he was so jumpy, and he told me it was because of something he had seen multiple times outside of his kitchen window. He claimed that he has seen a tall, white, and very thin creature on the edge of his backyard near the tree line. He tells me it has small black eyes and that it's around 8 feet tall, and that it just stands there watching his house and then vanishes. He said the sighting started about 2 months ago, and I have only seen him twice since he started to see whatever this thing is. I am at a loss for words on how to help him. My grandfather used to be so easygoing, but now he's afraid of my family staying at his house past sundown because he doesn't want us seeing it either." So, the slow stalk.
Yeah.
What I did when I picked these cases, I tried to give different aspects of what these things do.
Mm-hmm.
Pop out at cars, sure.
Totally.
Hang out at the side of the road. You try to be nice to it. It screams in your face. It runs away.
It gets you pizza.
If you notice it on the side by the fence of your grandparents' property, you better make sure that solarium's locked tight.
Or fall asleep.
Or it's going to creep up.
There you go.
And sleep that fucker away. So far, though, no attacks.
No attacks.
So that's a
right.
plus.
Yeah,
That's
no,
plus.
just weird, creepy stalking maneuvers.
But yes, super stalky, especially in the grandparent in this last case.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. I mean, the fact that he wants his family to stay away because, like, you can't see this, but he has his gun and his dog.
Yeah.
Like, Gramps is locked and loaded, dude.
Hey,
Peepaw's ready to shoot the fuck out of this
creeper, leave my Gramps alone.
thing. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
It took me a second.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Just saying.
Excellent, Paul.
Yeah.
Good
thank
job.
you.
Yes.
Another unsettling case comes to us from a Reddit user who claimed to have encountered one of these creepy critters as a 12-year-old child in rural Arkansas, rural being the operative word, in 2006. According to the witness, he lived in a modest home perched on a dirt road on an isolated parcel of land surrounded by woods. The nearest structures to his childhood home were a burned-out husk of a house that was barely standing down the street and the long-abandoned remnants of a slaughterhouse that were being reclaimed by the forest, both of which would make a crack hideaway for the creature in question.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
if this thing has a layer.
Oh, the old burned-out house? The old burned-out Cooper house?
Yeah.
Everyone died?
Nah, you found
Daughter
it.
survived. She's mad.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the slaughterhouse?
Right,
The old Davis slaughterhouse in the back lots.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way, it's a shit show.
Yeah, you found out where it lives.
Yeah.
There it is.
Both how one's its summer home.
Yeah, exactly. Very close.
As happens to all of us in the hormonal throes of growing up, The soon-to-be teenager had a fight with his parents and found himself storming out of the house in the dead of night. Being dark and his travel options limited, the infuriated kid decided to stomp out to the trampoline in his backyard, lay down and stare up at the full moon and do his best to cool off, almost certainly muttering to himself about the injustices of his tyrannical parents. Little could he have suspected, as he vented his frustrations at the night sky, that strict parents were the very least of his problems. Here's what happened next in his own words. So I'm laying on the trampoline, and other than the moon, there isn't any light aside from the porch light, which is a ways behind me. All of a sudden, I vaguely see something move. It's coming from the lot across from the dirt road, and it's coming towards me. We had a Boston Terrier at the time, and at first I figured it was him, but as it got closer, I knew that's not what it was. It was sickly pale. It walked on all fours with its hands, but seemed to be able to walk upright. It's kind of galloping towards me on all fours. I don't know why the word galloping really just fills me with icky dread.
Yeah.
It's just so gross.
And it's a little bit of ways at this point, but getting closer. The light bounced off its skin, and it almost seemed to look wet.
Galloping and wet are two things you don't want unless you're on a horseback on a beach.
All right,
with
fair.
Fabio.
Sure.
Pre getting hit by a goose in a roller coaster.
That goes without saying.
There you go.
Its gait and color is pretty clear to me, but I don't remember anything distinct about its face except that it just seemed to be whitewashed to me. It's happening so fast, and now it's right near me, still running, and I can't see it. It's under the trampoline.
Oh, not where you want it to be.
No, it is not.
Maybe you want to have fun.
Under the trampoline?
It missed.
I went to jump in the trampoline like, hey, friend. And then just ate shit and just ended up under the trampoline.
Yeah, it's just going to go to the other side and come back around.
Okay.
You'll see what. You'll see it. It'll have fun.
I mean,
I love your
You'll see.
I love your positive spin.
In all fairness, you might see.
Okay, all right.
It would be then that this terrifying moment would go from bad to worse as the concealed thing made its presence known, quote, and then I feel it. I feel it push up on the trampoline. The boy jumped to his feet. He could see the pressure points in the thin black fabric distend as the thing pushed upwards with its spindly limbs, seemingly in an effort to feel for its prey. Almost certainly petrified by the prospect of being run down by this crawling horror, the moment his feet touched the lawn, the terrified tween knew he had no choice but to try to make it to his back door. Mustering his courage, the kid sprinted to the side of the trampoline and leapt onto the lawn. If he lost his footing, it was just for a second as he made a mad dash for the safety of the distant door, praying it was unlocked and dreading the horrific sensation of talons or teeth tearing into the soft flesh of his calf before pulling him into the dark wood to feast on his flesh before his parents were any the wiser. He would never know how close he came to being caught as, within seconds, he was inside the house slamming the door behind him. He later recalled, quote, I didn't even bother to look back as I ran into the house. I don't remember my thought process at all past that point, but my mom has told me that I came into the house hollering and absolutely terrified, end quote. In the time that elapsed between the event and his posting, the now young adult processed the experience and came to some unusual conclusions, writing, I've thought about this consistently over the years, and as I've gotten older, I have seen stories of similar creatures. I used to describe it as looking like Gollum from Land of the fucking...
Land of the Ring?
Wow.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Land of the Round.
Like, I don't fucking know what that means.
LOTR, good sir.
Land of the Lost Ring. Oh, boy, fucking Rob.
Oh, God.
I couldn't be more shamed right now.
Lord of the Rings.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Because I clearly did need help. I can't even be sarcastic about that.
I love it.
Land of the Ring.
It's okay. Land of the Rings. You're nailed. You got it, dude.
I think we should just keep it.
I think we need to make that movie.
Fucking Land of the Ring.
Just to hope we don't get sued.
Hey, PDJ. I got words for it. It's not your movie, buddy.
No,
it's Gollum and Land of the Ring. You fucking idiots.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
All right.
Shit creatures.
There it is.
I used to describe it as looking like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Sorry. That laugh is going to make no sense to anybody.
We can just keep going with it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Keep it. Ruin the mood.
There
Sorry,
you go.
everybody.
It's fine. It's okay.
Lord of the fucking Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Adding, I think of the creature kind of fondly in a way. It would never have occurred to me at the time, but it almost had a playful vibe to it. Chris.
See? Mark.
And it makes me sad to think that it's just some lonely but semi-intelligent creature. Maybe a grotesque experiment or some off-kilter evolutionary line. I don't think that's impossible. I guess I let my imagination run wild with it, though. I will always be curious about this and the place in general.
Write this killer a love letter.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I
That's
know.
insane.
Rebranding the madness.
Yeah, dude, this is how he processes and feels okay about almost being eaten on a trampoline.
Now, here's the thing.
You can't prove that.
You're right. I can't.
Now, Chris has got a hill to die on, so don't expect anything
Crawlers
to
just
change.
want to have fun, and you're ruining it.
Oh, no, dude.
I am usually the first to advocate for don't judge things on their
surprised
appearances.
that you're not jumping on this.
That thing ran under the trampoline and poked up. That's a pure sign of evil.
Well, wow. Okay.
Okay.
No one ever does that with fucking playful intent. Like, ooh, look, see if I can, avoid the pokers.
I mean,
All right. My case seems less solid now that I say that out loud.
Avoid the pokers.
All right. When I was all right, as I always do, as we all do, as hopefully all the listeners do, I imagine this in my head when I first read it.
Okay.
I'm having a fucking full-on panic attack nightmare.
Yeah,
Because
no,
I'm
same.
a kid on a trampoline in rural Arkansas down a dirt road surrounded by slaughterhouses and fucking, burnout husks.
Yeah,
No,
and
for sure.
For sure.
And this scuttly wet white thing is awkwardly crawling under and starts poking up.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, I just got to
It's
be
not-
safe. As he did at the time. I guess I didn't see its like playful grin.
No, I
Its
didn't
jaunty
either.
fucking puppy waddle. I didn't see those things.
I mean, it could have easily went for the kid in the trampoline. I'm not sure why it decided to go underneath to get him.
I don't know. Maybe
Maybe it's
playful.
like a cat. It likes to play with its prey.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Because it's got to kill it in the end, right? He wants to kill.
That's what you got. I mean,
Why do
yeah.
I need this thing to be bad?
I don't know.
Maybe this is more about me.
I'm playing it safe. I would shoot these fuckers on sight.
Oh, you'd
Just
have
saying,
to.
yeah.
You and I are
When
together
Chris
on
is on the
this.
trampoline, I'm like, no, you get away from my Chris.
Holding
boom,
hands.
boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Riding it like a horsey. Woo!
and just hope it isn't just a human being that you shot.
Get a tan.
Get away from my Christopher. How dare you?
Right.
Like, oh, shit. Sorry, buddy. I shot one of your friends. My fault.
So I continue.
All right.
Perhaps the witness was right in his retrospect, and that he ran away from nothing more than an unnerving but otherwise harmless being. Perhaps something akin to a playful, malformed puppy. But on the other hand, his first intuition of running in stark terror may have been spot on, and it may just have been blind panic that saved his young life. But if this particular case makes one wonder if the motives of these pale crawlers might be benign, our next encounter will make you reevaluate that assumption.
Now I'm looking at you, Chris.
No, and Chris, it won't.
I didn't say that
No.
they were all happy-go-lucky, fun-time creatures.
just the one on the trampoline?
Yeah.
All right, it could have been a
man.
kid. Maybe the kid crawlers are just looking to be buddies.
No.
Like Bigfoot babies sometimes want to hang out and play
No,
and
those
eat your
still-
apples.
No, then they're going to eat your face.
Oh, yeah, they will.
Yeah, exactly.
I
They're going
know.
to rip you to shreds.
You know how I feel about the foot.
Tear you asunder.
They're evil.
Okay. I mean, there's still no attack yet, and nothing's gotten eaten yet.
Okay.
So just
could
throwing
be-
that out
well,
there.
It could be building up.
All right, so you want to base it on that. Facts.
Could be building up.
Great. Great, Chris.
Ugh.
Next. What's
Why
next?
are you here?
I'm not going to let either of you get eaten by crawlers, okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be here for you. I'll be there for you. These 5 words I swear to you.
Okay.
Okay?
Wow, that's perfect.
Yeah.
If I ever marry a crawler, you're not coming to the wedding.
Who
Saved you, Bobby.
Who will officiate it, good sir?
Oh, it'd be you.
Exactly.
With a gun. In our final encounter, you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Brent Swanser, reports that sometime in 2011, a 10-year-old boy had accompanied his parents on a house hunting expedition. His father, a military man, was stationed at a base near El Paso, Texas, and they were looking for a nearby place where the family could reside. The realtor, which he refers to only as M, had an odd penchant for taking the family on tours of the most dilapidated abodes after dark, and this trip was no exception.
You fucking got a serial killer for a real estate agent?
I know, it's weird.
Jesus.
The witness described this newest home that they were being shown as, quote, overgrown with bushes and ugly crabgrass. The sidewalk is uneven and jagged and even missing in some places, end quote. The interior of the place was little better, and the boy claimed that it looked depressing and decrepit and smelled like, quote, something old and wet, yet fresh and rotting at the same time. Very vivid.
Okay.
But I mean, that's what a writer does. Takes childhood memories, makes them vivid.
There you go.
Thank you, Stephen King. The group, careful not to touch anything, looked around the repellent living room before heading to the garage. Though the electricity had been shut off, once they stepped into the garage, they noticed that the naked bulb dangling from the ceiling seemed inexplicably to be emitting a sickly bluish light that was, quote, just bright enough to illuminate the walls and the floor and bathe the garage in the same shade of blue it was radiating. My parents and Em both made a comment on how that was weird, and maybe there was some sort of charge going to the light through the power lines. I couldn't care less because what I was staring at was worse than any creepy light that was working when it should not have been. There was something inside the garage. It looked like a human, or maybe what used to be human. It appeared wet again. Its skin kind of looked like if you grabbed it, it would just slip right off. I could see veins through the skin, like wet, wrinkly skin that looks like I guess, like old chicken in the fridge. Like the skin would just go.
Oh
my God.
Awful.
Okay. See the veins through the skin, which was so pale it seemed see-through. The thing was emaciated. I could see all of its ribs. I could see hip bones. Its arms and legs consisted of just enough fat in the thighs and upper arms that you could tell that's what they were and not just sticks slapped on a lump of flesh. The neck was long enough to appear proportionally weird, and the head was turned to look straight at me. If you could even say it was looking, because where normal eyes would be, there were just holes. There was stringy clumps of hair hanging from the tops and sides of its head, end quote. It would be then that things would go from bleak to bizarre, as the boy was suddenly struck by the sensation that this thing, whatever it was glad he was there. He continued, quote, I got the sixth sense, not sixth, but sick as in ill, that it was happy to see me, almost as if it was thinking finally, as in like finally he's there, I think. I could tell if it stood up, it would be tall, almost ceiling height, so about 8 feet. I watched this thing crawl on all fours, think hands and very long feet, not hands and knees, from the center of the garage directly under the light bulb. It crossed in front of me and my family and Em and disappeared into the wall. I am not sure what that means, but we'll put a pin in that. It kept its head turned on me the whole time, and I followed it with my eyes the whole time. I don't remember even feeling scared in the traditional sense. I felt invited, I felt intrigued, and more than anything, I felt like it had been waiting on me. Just me. I felt like it was telling me, come in, make yourself at home. You're always welcome here, end quote. What the boy might have done next is anyone's guess, but thankfully for him, his mom pulled him out of the garage. He explained. My parents decided that they were thoroughly creeped out, though, and without seeing the rest of the house, we left. They told Em that they weren't interested, and that was that. We fired her shortly after because she made a habit of showing us abandoned houses in the pitch dark. Again, serial killer red flag.
Yeah, that's a reason to get let go, for sure.
I was the only person who saw the thing, that's in quotes. But my parents, after thinking I was asleep in the car on the way home, started talking about how once they opened the garage door, they felt like they were trespassing, like someone else was watching them. Also, that it felt colder all of a sudden than the rest of the house, smelled like rotten meat, and something just wasn't right about that blue light, end quote. So they get an icky sort of feeling. They smell the rotten meat.
Yeah.
The kid's fully invited. So we'll just bear that in mind.
Okay.
What are we to make of this incident? While other encounters with these things may be strange, bordering on the surreal, they generally seem to be of corporeal creatures, but something with the power to only be seen by whom it chooses. to psychically link with an individual and to make said child not fear it despite its horrific appearance and stench? This clearly seems to cross that none too subtle line between the sane world and the supernatural one. But it brings us no closer to any answers as to what these things may be, if indeed they are all representative of a single species, which they may well not be. I mean, we have to entertain that.
It leans to that maybe they're not really.
I'm with that. That's why I included that caveat. Speculations as to the origins of these pale crawlers run the gamut from hell to space. That's right, aliens and demons. But no one really knows where they come from or why they do what they do. For the more internet savvy among us, this description will ring a bell, as it is very similar to a fictional character that was, according to dictionary.com, a collaborative creepypasta style project that began in 2013 when a 4chan user invited others to help create a brand new monster complete with fake photoshopped images. Details of this beast were tracked in this 2013 blog post, quote, "Here's what we've got so far. Humanoid, about 6 feet tall when standing, but usually crouches and walks on all fours. It has very pale skin. The face is blank, as in no nose, no mouth. However, it has 3 solid green eyes, one in the middle of its forehead, and the other 2 on either side of its head towards the back. Usually seen in front yards in suburban areas, usually just watches the observer, but will stand up and attack if approached. When it attacks, a mouth opens up as if a hinged skull that opens at the chin, reveals many tiny but dull teeth, the character's spindly limbs, low to the ground, lurking, and the many teeth help contribute to its name." End quote.
So that was like the birth of the creepypasta?
That of the creature called the Rake.
Gotcha.
Allegedly, according to dictionary.com.
Gotcha.
While there are undeniable similarities, there are also distinct differences between this internet hoax and the creatures being seen throughout the world. Still, it's understandable why dyed-in-the-wool debunkers, for lack of a better term, glom onto the idea that all of the accounts of pale crawlers can be traced back to the Rake, much like modern cases of those who claim to have had genuine face-to-face encounters with the equally fictitious Slender Man. But for the genuinely skeptical, which is to say discerning but not debunky, which is just the same as being a true fucking believer, this dismissal of all the sightings is the laziest of conceits, as whether this phenomenon be social, psychological, or genuinely paranormal, or some combination thereof, there is something deeper at work here than an internet prank gone sideways. Once we agree that this phenomenon is not just the figment of a collective imagination driven by grainy videos and viral reports of sinister scuttlers, we must address the idea that these ill-proportioned, though decidedly zombie-like entities might actually be the undead, either conjured up by occult means or resurrected by pseudoscientific methods that would be more at home on a 70s drive-in screen, such as toxic waste, radioactive drums, fill in the fucking blank.
Okay.
But there's no indication that the dead are rising en masse to scurry through the streets, scaring the bejesus out of anyone unfortunate enough to cross their paths. But what if this is something more subtle? I can't help but to wonder if we might be dealing with an infectious agent, a virus, or something more akin to the parasitic Ophicordyceps fungi, I hope I said that right, Ophicordyceps fungi, which targets and kills wasps, slowly penetrating their skeleton and brains, effectively turning them into zombies. But before you start feeling too bad for wasps, certain species of parasitic wasps have also been found to zombify spiders. According to the website newatlas.com, quote, "It reads like a horror story. First, the wasp lays eggs on the spider's back. Soon after the larvae hatch, they apparently take control over the spider, though I don't know how that happens, I'm adding that, forcing it to build an unusual type of web that acts like a cocoon for the larva. With the work done, the wasp's young eat the hapless spider, then settle into pupate, eventually emerging as adult wasps." So, fuck wasps, and fuck the things that fuck wasps.
Yeah, it's all like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
These last 2 facts teach us just 2 things. Let them be these. 1, nature is a full-on dick that hates your guts. 2, whether by worms, bacterium, or Christ knows what, we're all just 15 minutes away from starring in a terrifying early Cronenberg flick with shit spilling out of all of our orifices and mobs of folks trying to kill fuck each other into oblivion. And not to mix movie metaphors, but what if America's lost and downtrodden are getting chudded That's right. Chudded is a phrase. I don't mean specifically getting turned into cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers, though in a sense I guess I do. But what if a transformative parasite is silently spreading through America's all too vast homeless population, affecting only those with tragically compatible genetic markers, turning these already often thin and sickly human beings into haggard shells of themselves, mobile viral vectors who crawl, eat shit, and carry the disease to others until whatever's inside of them explodes outwards in its full wormy chestburster glory, eating the remains, and the cycle begins anew. Just a theory. Adding. The moral of the story may be that we should never feel so secure in our supposed position on the food chain that we let down our guards, either to microscopic predators or very large semi-quadrupedal humanoid monsters. And just to leave the door open and end this on an even more unnerving note, there are eyewitnesses that swear that these seemingly lone wolves also hunt in packs.
Oh, man, you got a whole gaggle of pale crawlers coming in your front yard, upsetting Grandpappy?
And the horses.
Yeah, and the horses
foreshadowing.
hanging out underneath the trampoline. There it is, folks. Pale crawlers. I do appreciate the theories you put at the end. I did not see that coming.
You got to have theories sometimes.
The last story definitely alluded to a Walking Dead situation. For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But
well, the last story is the only one that is full-on supernatural. So it's almost like we have to separate the scenarios.
I was thinking about that, though.
The one on the tree.
The one in the tree that was flickering. That the lady was like, "I'm not sure how."
Yeah, that one's a little.
Yeah, that's an outlier too. Absolutely,
it really is kind of a weird like dichotomy between these. Like, okay, is this some kind of like you said, like a corporeal creature that's living and hunting people, or is this some weird like phantasmagorical beast that just appears for some reason? I was also kind of like entertaining the idea like interdimensional stuff, obviously, which could cross over also with the whole veil and ghosts.
I mean, that's always an option.
But it's weird that like the kid in the garage no one else saw it but him.
No.
They
smelled it.
And you mentioned this obviously in your research and in the writing here that like this is something that like is almost like connecting with somebody like I'm here. Right. And nobody else is like seeing it. Because I mean, these things, as big as they are, there's no way you're going to miss this thing. You can't.
No.
You know?
And crawls right in front of you. Does the slow, awkward, 8-foot-tall human
they
crawl
were definitely,
in front of you.
As big as these things can get, there would 100% be tracks of these things. Like 100%. For sure.
They wouldn't be flickering like weird TV signals. They would be making leaves shake when they climb trees.
Yeah, they'd be appearing on ring cams, which I'm pretty sure we have seen them on ring cams before. But
and as I mentioned in the introduction, as you mentioned, literally when you read it, they have been seen in cityscapes. They have been seen in suburban areas. They are not limited to the rural areas, even though that is what I limited the accounts to tonight.
Right.
Just by chance, really. In rural areas, you can be like, oh, yeah. Lots of places to hide. The old slaughterhouse, any place.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I guess in dilapidated urban centers, like Detroit is one of the places where they're seen, I don't know, fairly often, but a few times. A lot of dilapidated buildings, places where you can hide. But this goes back to that same problem we always have, which is there's no real place where a body of humanoid crawling things can remain completely concealed in a cell phone, ring cam, game cam ridden world.
I mean, alas, of course, they're living underground. Where if they just come out to hunt.
Right.
The children on the trampoline.
I mean, well, so far they haven't yet.
Yeah, no,
that's
Chris
true.
makes the point.
Well, that we know of.
They have not yet.
That we know of. These cases are just weird, stocky cases.
They're just there and then they're out.
Yeah, which is more concerned about the kid that's like, no, this thing kind of, was happy that I was there. It was real excited. That sounds like some mesmer type shit. Like, hey, kid, I'm happy that you're here. Why don't you come over here? Hey, let's talk with me. A little cheese and crackers.
No, I know.
Pepperoni?
Well, right, but also just because he felt that way doesn't mean that it was doing something either. This last story is really weird. There's a blue flickery light he seems to indicate
the power that shouldn't be power.
Yeah, there's some sort of something going on with that has to connected to it.
What really bothers me about the last case is, of course, what Mark says, but on a deeper note, on the tech that Chris is on now. Just because it's big and stinky, it smells like rotten flesh and looks creepy as fucking has no fucking eyes but big black holes, doesn't mean it's not glad to see the kid.
Well I know. So
I mean, all right. I'm the last person to advocate. Listen to the crawling husk of humanity that smells like dead pork. Listen to this guy. Go hang out.
There could literally just have been dead, like varmints. If they're always going to dilapidated houses,
Sure.
I mean,
oh yeah, there could be desiccated
just
raccoons
rats or anything.
So
There. It might not be that.
They're there to like eat dead vermin.
I mean,
no, I'm just saying they're not even connected.
You
it's
mean
just
like
a shitty house,
right?
There's dead shit in there.
Because it's just like dead pigeons and shit.
So Mark's
everywhere.
not wrong because, and like when we did like dogs versus paranormal or one of those cases, monsters maybe.
It was dogs versus aliens, good sir.
We did both.
We did. We had dogs and aliens.
Yes,
with
we
dogs
did.
and monsters.
Like
awesome.
dogs versus
a thing that is essentially a pale crawler was seen eating dog food. They have been seen eating dog food, rooting through the garbage. They're basically like scum coons, like the worst of the raccoons, the hairless, greasy, dead chicken skin raccoons.
Are these paranormal raccoons?
No.
Oh.
Because then they'd look like fucking Montauk monsters.
Yeah, true. I want these to be the raccoons of the paranormal.
All right, so werecoons? Like you get bit by a fucking werecoon,
dude,
and
these
then
things are fucking dope.
You go fully naked, rummage through shit. Yes,
dude, this is a were animal situation.
In all
dude.
fairness, this thing acts a hell of a lot like a raccoon acts.
It
like
does.
you get too close to it, it rears up and hisses at you.
Oh, they'll hiss, yeah.
I've been hissed at by big raccoons.
But you can feed them food. You can throw them shit, and they'll come over and grab
who's
going to
train a pale crawler? You don't even take the time to learn that they can do that.
You got to give them donuts.
I mean, it only works if it's the curse is that it's rabid raccoon lycanthropy, and then they're just rabid because that's they right.
Yeah, that's true.
That's fair.
Wouldn't it be a normal
fair.
raccoon, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe it actually acts a lot like a normal raccoon that just looks like a fucking greasy.
And why would you get like 8
human.
feet tall? All of a
Yeah,
sudden,
the sizes.
Oh, you're looking for me to explain the fucking principles behind
the size is super weird, but also the connection that it has with people with that kid was and I guess the whole stalky aspect, because okay, now we can obviously say yes, these things are not there. We'll take the tact of that, they're the paranormal hummingbirds or whatever. They're not there to hurt you. They're just there to see what it is.
I didn't know what you meant. Like they buzz around.
These things could be killing people, and you wouldn't know. It'd be people going disappearing and shit. I mean,
they could be.
There's two for here.
All right, but
they
it could be.
Funny.
All right, so
they could be murdering people, even though there's no indication.
But we don't know.
Chris is right. That's a dangerous precedent to assume that something could be killing something. Therefore, they are. Is a very dangerous road.
Well, no,
we're saying taken that road too many times.
They might be killing. They might just be friendly. We don't know yet.
They are scary as fuck.
Listen, as somebody who firmly believes about slipping things in and out of the veil, I'm talking about you. This could be the squirrel of whatever fucking dimension, they just randomly fucking pop in, do some shenanigans, and they're out.
Oh my god! What if they only come to Earth to collect nuts? Like that's it. They're just looking for Earth acorns because they're a delicacy, and when people see them, they flip the fuck out. But they're just like, "Hey, dude!" And he wanted to hop on a trampoline, just one kid squirrel.
Yeah. He didn't get his trampoline time in. He just kind of went underneath and started poking at the kid, like pinch poke.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'm not saying tulpa. I'm not.
Oh my!
I'm not.
No one even brought that up.
I'm just saying I'm not saying it.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, that's it.
God.
Because
I'm not saying it.
Because this is creepy pasta based. I'm not saying it, but we're just gonna put that out there. We're gonna let people run with that. I think as is. Yeah, man. It's just weird that it seems like person-centered. Like it's not like is there like mass? You would know more than this than I would. Is there like like more than one people, like more than one person seeing these things?
It has happened. Multiple
eyewitnesses.
So
there are
Couples
multiple
have
eyewitnesses.
seen them.
Okay, all right, then that's good. So because I'm thinking, man, maybe this is some weird like hunting predator prey technique where like it fucking creates some kind of like link with you where it's like, oh yeah, no, this is cool. We're like really happy. Like if you're baiting a deer, but they're baiting humans.
And that's a fair assumption, but only really based on the final story.
Right. There's only one.
I know. I got to get off this. I'm
held
out on this thing killing
story. And I'm like,
listen, I'm still the kid on the trampoline scared shitless, not the smart, wise adult that years later thought, oh, maybe it just wanted to make friends.
Yeah,
I'm not there yet either.
No.
And when like the weird eyeless thing is really happy to see you, then you got to start first, I guess, worrying if you're adopted and there's like a dark history, or
right,
or if this thing is trying to entice you, like you're saying. But tabling that for a second, and looking at this objectively, as we so often try to do and never succeed. these things aren't doing anything, at least in the batch of stories here. I'm sure that there are stories. I didn't read any in my current batch of research where they attack people. I read people writing about how they attacked people, but I didn't actually read the accounts where they did.
Right.
So that's why the intro is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's not representative of what we've seen here. But on the other hand, just because you can, like that Bear Man documentary or whatever that I think Werner Herzog did years ago.
Oh, God,
just because you hang out with grizzlies 25 times and they fucking like you doesn't mean you're not a fucking ravaged carcass the 25th.
Yeah, no, that was...
Well, that's all, yeah. I mean, tigers. I mean, that's...
Snail crawlers.
Yeah, like Siegfried and Roy do with Manticore.
So there's lots of cases where, and doesn't make them bad, it does make them dangerous.
Okay.
But just because you aren't being attacked doesn't mean they aren't capable of it. But on the other hand, scapegoating is a very dangerous thing. And just because something might be capable of attacking you doesn't mean you should assume the worst either. But I would say I would take a safe détente stance. Like, I wouldn't maybe attack them, but I'd get the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't want to see you guys out in the field at night feeding one of these things.
It will not
You're going to
happen.
get a stern talking to. I
mean, I live by woods and I've not seen any.
Okay, well, I want it to stay that way. And if you do, call me immediately and lock your doors.
I'm going to take my phone out there. I'm going to feed it. I'm going to fucking videotape it, show it to you. Be like, this is my new friend.
we made water balloons. We flew kites at night for some reason.
Yeah, this is Stanley, Pale Crawler.
We went to Walmart and looked at the action figure.
Scared everyone out of Walmart. I got all shit for free.
Yeah, I got all my Red Baron pizzas are now mine. They're there. To end it here real quick though, on your theory of this virus type thing, sort of like what the hell was that HBO show with the Mandalorian that we watched?
The Last of Us?
The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah,
that was
that's
cordyceps.
That's another
what it
fun
was.
Cordyceps, yeah. But that theory that you proposed there is kind of interesting. I guess the only thing with that is I suppose, like, well, where the hell are these things going? And how is it not known about? Like, how is science not found out? But I do like that. That is a very interesting. I never thought of that, actually, with Pale Crawlers. It's a whole, you put a whole new spin on it for me.
Yeah, I'd never even seen that show either. I mean, I wrote this draft forever ago. But yes, it does seem very, because I did hear there were mushroom zombies, and that makes a lot of sense.
It's pretty cool too.
Of course, someone's going to explore that theme. But I don't think it's fungus necessarily,
or just with some kind of virus,
or some sort of Cronenbergian thing. But I mean, think of it this way: it would be the way to change things. Like the homeless population is vast; they are undocumented. They are often already sick and emaciated. They have a lot of mental illnesses. They have a lot of physical illnesses, and they would be the most vulnerable to a transformative thing. Now, making you feet taller. I mean, now we're going into werewolf territory. That seems fantastical.
Yeah.
So we're leaving the realms of maybe science to like absolutely fucking not science.
Dude, we are science. What are you talking about? Come on, man.
Though I do like the idea, and this goes back to the 15-foot tree climber that's like flickering in and out of like a Cyberman type thing, like a Who villain, like I mentioned, where they're collecting people and transforming them through the veil, if you will, Mark.
Okay,
in another
cool,
dimension.
Cool.
Making out of the sundry parts and minds of human beings these distended, weird, like the reverse of the Phantasm Jawas.
Yes, like a tall version.
Okay.
And they send them back here because, I don't know, maybe they already know the territory. They know the smells of Earth to collect food, to collect information, to fucking check rocks like all aliens want to do. I don't fucking know. But they're getting biologically modified in another dimension. And it's a self-perpetuating thing. The Pale Crawlers steal more humans. They make more Pale Crawlers.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Until there's an army of Pale Crawlers at our interdimensional doorstep.
Amassing, waiting to strike.
Yeah, shit.
For whatever
All right.
reason. And maybe they just want to open taco stands. I don't
Dude, maybe
fucking
they're
know.
here to just jump on trampolines.
Maybe that was it. Maybe that was
a
the
new
whole plan.
chain of trampoline stores.
Yeah, it's like Super
They
Sky
are
Zone,
more friendly
dude.
to them.
Yeah, exactly.
There is another trampoline-based case that I didn't actually include.
See?
Oh, my God, really?
Yeah.
Dude, what's up with these trampolines?
Some kids laying on a trampoline saw some crazy shit, and it was like ambling towards them. They're like, "Oh, we got to get the fuck out of here!" It's like maybe it is a trampoline fixation. Acorns and trampolines.
See? They're coming with trampolines.
Man,
There it is. I think we got it. They're bouncy.
No, I'm going to tell my kids this story and be like, this is why I need to get rid of that trampoline, because it attracts Pale Crawlers.
It really does.
And it's a goddamn eyesore in my friggin' yard.
That's true.
I hate
And
it.
I mean, I'm surprised they even have bones left.
On the trampoline?
Yeah, everything breaks on a trampoline. I've
No.
known so many kids that broke bones on trampolines.
No, knock on wood. My kids have been really good about
I'm
it.
clearly not trying to jinx them. I'm just saying
Evelyn's
it's a danger
dude,
pit.
Dude, Evelyn's like an acrobat on that thing. She can do all kinds of weird twists and shit and jumps and all kinds of stuff.
God bless her.
I've been trying to get it I'm like, guys, what we need to do is push this thing towards the house so we can get on the roof, jump off the roof, on the trampoline, and then into the pool.
Yeah.
But then I'm Captain Bad Idea.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm also
mean,
generally about 9
yeah.
beers. I'm about 9 beers deep when I do. I'm like, this is gonna jump off. It's a brawl. Yeah. So it's okay though. That's why my wife's there. That's why I love her. She keeps me in check.
That's true.
And the kids are like, yeah, Dad, don't do that shit. It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Good kids. Thank you for joining us, Kryptonaut Podcast. Pale Crawlers. Robert, we have some Patreon shout-outs to do for the folks who support us over there at patreon.com/Kryptonaut Podcast.
The most joyous moment of the pod, if you ask me.
The thanks to all the people that support us over there.
Thank you, one and all, Nicole Willis.
Thank you, Nicole.
I'm sorry, Nicole Wills.
Oh, Nicole Wills. Thank you, Nicole Wills.
Natasha with the Red Rum Podcasters.
Check out that show. She's a fellow podcaster out there. Check it out. It's pretty cool. Red Rum Podcast.
Hell yeah.
Dope.
Brandini.
Thank you, Brandini.
Rusty Boy Studios.
Oh, what's up, Rusty Boy?
Venom Shot 99.
That person just killed me in Modern Warfare 3, probably.
Oh boy.
There it is.
Gooseman.
Thank you, Goose Man.
Oh, back from the dead and ready to party.
Hell yeah.
Ben Francis.
Thank you, Ben.
Casey Black.
Thank you, Casey.
Chris Gerver.
Thanks, Chris.
Tim Colleen Plummer.
Hell
That's
yeah.
one word. Tim
Yeah.
Colleen.
And I double-checked it. It's Tim Colleen Plummer.
You did.
I love it.
Thank you, you or both of you.
I appreciate the support.
Christopher Balzac Pavesi.
Thank you, Christopher.
Sharon Ferret Fanatic.
Hell yeah, ferrets for life, yo.
Yeah. Jeff. Oh, I saw Jeff finally last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in Patreon.
Okay, cool.
Sylvan Goal.
Thank you, Sylvan.
Eric Hitchcock.
Thank you, Eric.
Magic Man 54.
Thank you, Magic Man.
Kristen Merrick.
Thank you so much, Kristen.
Summer Maddoxum.
We appreciate it, Summer. Thank you so much.
Blade Jester.
Hell yeah.
Boy, Jester.
Yeah,
That sounds
dude.
like a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Yeah,
It does, too.
It is. Seriously. Okay.
Dirty Frogs.
Oh, the dirtiest of
Oh
frogs.
my. I'm not going to go there.
Okay, yeah.
Teddy.
Thank you, Teddy.
Rounding it up. Jenna DeFleece.
Thank you, Jenna. Again,
Word.
that is patreon.com/Kryptonaut Podcast. Got the bonus audios over there happening and doing it. Thank you to everyone that supports us. If you are on the Patreon, be sure to join up on the Discord.
Hell yes.
You do the $1 or the $5. It is tied to you. You can check that out. Join that awesome community. Over there, we got the Instas and the Twitters and the Facebooks and the socials and the medias and the things. They're happening. Check us out. Follow us. Like, comment, share. I don't know, whatever you got to do over there. Just go ahead and do that.
Do it.
We got merch over at the old hellerspace.com. That's TeePublic Shop. We got kryptonautmerch.com. That's the crowd made. Be sure to check all that out. This is coming out the week of Thanksgiving, which is bizarre to even say. But there's going to be all kinds of Black Friday sales and deals. So if you want to get some presents for the folks in your life over there, the Kryptonaut boys, go check that out. There's going to be, I'll post up on the socials like when they're going to be happening. But there's all kinds of sales happening for the holiday season because it is upon us, and I have already beat it because we have the Christmas trees up, we have the lights out, we have everything working.
Oh, so you need to do no
wow,
more.
I won Christmas already.
By
Oh,
preempting like,
Christmas?
a preemptive Christmas strike.
Oh yeah. No, it's a preemptive strike with me on Christmas.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I said fuck you. You know what? We're putting this shit up before Thanksgiving.
Sometimes, I'm sure Sun Tzu said it first, but acquiescing is the art of victory.
I mean, it was my daughter's request, and I could not say no. And I figured, you
can't.
know what?
Not
I
with
have Veterans Day off on a Friday, so let's fucking do this.
hell yeah.
Let's get this Christmas going.
All
So
right,
check all that out
sweet.
there. And before we get out of here, we want to give a very special shout out and some well wishes to our buddy Lance, who's going through some health issues at the moment. And we're thinking of you, buddy.
100%.
Hang in there. Good luck with everything. And a big crypto love from the crypto boys.
Absolutely. Send any positivity you got to spare Lance's way, and he's a good dude, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. So shout outs to you there, my dude. And as we mentioned in the beginning of the show, Chris will have a short film coming out very soon on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And we will be returning with other YouTube videos, so be on the lookout for that. We will have that posted and whatnots. For y'all to check that out. There you have it. Thank you all so very much. We'll be talking to you soon.
Mm-hmm.
Peace in.
Yeah.
Peace in.
Peace in.
Like peace. Oh, because you're not peacing out, you're peacing in.
Peacing in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
There it is.
It's my new thing.
Nice. I'm gonna make that the new talk with the no cap and the Riz.
All right.
Peacing in.
Bouncing with the crawlers.
Yeah, dude, that's my new shit. Bouncing with the crawlers.
Hell yeah.
No cap and bounce with the crawlers.
Riz.
Yeah, dude, for real.
Riz.
That's what I say. I'm just like, yeah,
I'm
Riz.
assuming I used that correctly.
Just saying some words.
No
Yeah.
cap, got the Riz. There it is. Thank y'all. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
You slap.
You good sir slap.
Oh, thank you.
You both.
No, sir. I insist.
You
You
both-
are the one who doth slap.
You both slap. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.